Every day and almost every hour, somebody makes a Reddit post talking about their inability to win with Regent. So today we're learning how to play the Regent, my favorite and best character, starting with stars. When it comes to your star economy, there are three possibilities. You have a star surplus, you are star neutral, or you're in star debt. Note that this changes from floor to floor on a macro level and from turn to turn on a micro level. Let's start with the most important one, star debt. Star debt is when you have more star costs than star generation. When in star debt, you mathematically cannot play all of the star cards that you draw. Star debt is unavoidable. Imagine you start a run and the first card offered to you is Reflect. You start each combat with 3 stars, and Venerate can make you 2 stars per cycle through your deck. So after 2 cycles you have, at most, 7 stars. That means if you play Falling Star even once, you cannot play Reflect every time you draw it. Top player Knavegreed, for example, routinely skips playing Falling Star so that he can play higher value star cards like Reflect and Comet on future turns. He trades a weaker turn now for a better outcome in the combat overall. This is called winning the fight instead of winning the turn. And if you're debating whether to play a star card or not, the answer almost always comes from your draw pile. What star spenders and star generators do you have coming down the pipe? And if you're learning, I would really get in the habit of looking at your draw pile, pressing the A key, almost every turn of combat. Often on Regent, the best play is to lose the turn. Trading some health now to play Venerate over Defend can reduce the total damage taken in the fight. And one of the hidden benefits of a card like Gather Light early on is that it acts a bit like an energy card because it makes it so you don't have to play Venerate. At a macro level, you solve star debt by adding stars to your deck. Here's a run where Knavegreed picks up a ton of star cards early, so even though he has a premium upgrade target in Child of the Stars, his first priority is to fix his star economy by upgrading Glow and Venerate. Star Surplus naturally allows you to add more star cards to your deck. Here Knavegreed lucks into 2 star upgrades, which allows him to add Quasar, but even with good star economy, he skips turn 1 Quasar to guarantee that he can play Reflect on a future turn. Your stars must be constantly reevaluated. Sometimes you'll find yourself in a surplus mid-combat and can spend stars to advance something like Galactic Dust. And the term surplus is relative. Sometimes it's even correct to spend your last star to trigger Black Hole when you have no other star cards coming up. Early game. Regent's early game is all about getting strong quickly with overstated cards that produce large amounts of block or damage. Spire is balanced so that small improvements in your output massively reduce the damage you take in fights. Early fights are less about setup and synergy, and more about raw power and efficiency. You just need raw block and damage, and all that cute stuff can wait until you have an engine established. Your goal is to get strong early so you can farm elites, and with that in mind, Nial relics. When researching this guide, I noticed that Knavegreed takes large capsule on Regent a lot. I used to think this was a bad option, like who wants an extra attack and defend in their deck, so I tested it. I ran 4 Act 1s with large capsule, and this relic gets you strong fast. At the start of the run, you barely feel the added weight of 2 more basics, but you definitely feel the extra relics. The extra early strength let me take on more elites and also upgrade more at campfires since I was barely taking damage in those elite fights. In my strongest large capsule test, I took 0 damage to the boss and last 2 elites, and grabbed 4 key upgrades, all while carrying a spoils map. And to add insult to injury, who cares about extra basics when this happens? My favorite Nial relics give you early strength so you can start snowballing immediately. I personally find Lead Paperweight and Kaleidoscope very strong and very fun, and if you're interested, my Kaleidoscope testing can be found here. I do actually quite like Silver Crucible on Regent. Regent has very strong upgrades, and the empty chest you can usually offset by farming an extra elite. Then, the Niao relics I'm not so fond of. Scroll boxes can force cards you'd rather skip, and even when it's good, it often leads to you skipping rewards that you otherwise would have taken. And relics like Lava Rock or card removal don't really set you up to snowball meaningfully in Act 1. These videos have already been helping people climb, so if you've learned something, consider following the channel. It really helps a lot. Powers. Regent's front-loaded cards are so strong that one of the best ways to lose is by taking too many powers. Let's look at some examples you might want to skip. Seeking Edge. This can be an AoE solve if you don't have anything else, but in single target fights, it's basically worse output than every other Forge card. Orbit. Unupgraded Orbit is a curse. It takes 2 turns to break even on its energy investment, and it's generally not worth it early when the fights are short. Void Form. Now, Void Form is obviously a very strong card, but you need to be able to put it into play without dying. Overall, there are very few powers that Regent actually wants early. Tyranny is maybe Regent's best card. It's a 1-card solve for many of the game's hardest fights, it opens up picks at the Ancient reward screen, and in skilled hands, it can break the game. It's never too early for Tyranny. Child of the Stars is the character's best block engine, and it can even give respectable block the turn that you play it. Spectrum Shift is a scaling solution to longer fights. Here, Knave Greed gets it into play early, and every turn it either delivers value or helps him outscale the enemy. Spectrum Shift also helps unlock Pillar of Creation as a pickable card, but beware that both these cards really want upgrades. While nearly every run will have you finding unique combos and synergies, Regent has 3 bread and butter approaches to boss scaling. First, Arsenal. This is Regent's best late game scaling option and a priority upgrade target. It's not unreasonable for this to give you 40 strength in a boss fight. Secondly, the Blade. I don't know who needs to hear this, but there is no Blade deck. You have decks that are almost entirely star stuff and decks that lean really heavily into card generation, but most Regent decks are a little bit of everything all of the time. The Blade is a scaling damage tool. Pretty much any deck will benefit from having a couple Forge cards. Bulwark and Refined Blade are your best options, but even Rotten Roar or Furnace will work if you have no other boss scaling. Note that the damage that you deal is much higher than the Forge number printed on the card. For example, Refined Blade forges for 9, giving you a 19 damage blade, which hits for 28 with Vulnerable. When thinking about using the Blade, ask yourself how many swings will it take to end this fight. If it's more than 1, you need to play it before you get through your draw pile. Otherwise, best not to shuffle it in and wait until you draw lethal. And lastly, card generation, including the aforementioned Spectrum Shift. If the fight goes on long enough, you will generate some random way to win. Next, Pathing. In Spire, the first 3 hallway fights each act come from an easy fight pool, and after that they come from a pool of tougher enemies. Spire 2's hard hallway fights can be on par with elites with none of the added rewards. My pathing tends to prioritize getting a few hallway fights early, and then prioritizing campfires and elites, ideally finding a shop somewhere along the way. In the large capsule testing that I did, my worst run came from getting chunked for a total of 32 health from 2 hard hallway fights, and that forced me into a more conservative, single elite path. Bait. Cards you probably shouldn't take. Up first, Stardust. I don't think I've ever been in a situation where it's optimal to take Stardust. It's pretty much the worst possible way to spend your stars, and I'm sure the comments will be full of people saying that it was great one time.
Could take a Stardust. Sounds awful.
And I'm gonna expand this bait section to all star cards that only deal damage. Next bait, the cute top of the draw pile cards. I love the top of draw pile package, but basically you just want to take the cards for their raw power and treat any synergy you find as an added bonus. Sometimes you'll stumble on a cool combo like Nostalgia plus I Am Invincible, but mostly you just take Kingly Kick as a nice Lagavulin and Eel solution. Last bait, half of the blade cards. I made a video proposing the current Sword Sage design, and even I don't take it. Almost every deck would be better replacing these cards with Refined Blade, and since Refined Blade is a common, you probably already have it. And finally, not bait, Meteor Shower. This card is incredible, and my opinion of it just keeps going up over time. I really can't imagine ever not taking this. And if you didn't know, Meteor Shower will keep whatever enchantments and upgrades Falling Star had. Now, that's it for the video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments and I will do my best to help out.